Hey hockey fans, welcome back. I'm Josh. This is the Hockey Flow. Today is Sunday, May 22nd, 2022. Man, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. We got some excellent hockey games going on today. Rangers-Canes just wrapped up. No spoilers. We'll save that for the evening's video, right? Today in hockey. Yeah, absolutely. We'll be going through that later today. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, now is an excellent time. Make sure you don't miss a beat. But let's get into today's video. We have another exciting topic. It is the weekend, so we are doing special videos. Today we're looking at 5 controversial injuries from NHL history, and I have to admit this is brought on by the Nazem Kadri, Jordan Binnington controversy that's happening right now. Did he hurt him? Did he mean to? Did he not? But I got to admit, the important part is that we're talking about hockey, and it's always fun to see both sides of a debate. But for this video, we're going to look at 5 injuries throughout NHL history that did create that controversy. They sparked the flame of conversation, if you will. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into it. And don't worry, there aren't going to be any gory or gruesome ones in this video. These are more injuries that created conversation and were impactful in the greater scheme, not necessarily in the carnage category. But yeah, let's jump right into it. Number 5, all right, just for the most recent one, Jordan Binnigton throws water bottle. Man, I tell you what, this one's funny. So Nazem Kadri actually did injure Jordan Binnington, and that's not funny whatsoever. He's going to be out, we heard, a few weeks now, and that's very unfortunate. But the post-game news conference, Kadri's on TNT doing his thing, and out of nowhere, he looks over, and you see a water bottle, or you see the curtain rustle behind him, and he mentions that he thinks Binnington threw a water bottle at him. And to be honest, I feel like it's the spirit of competition, that competitive nature coming out, right? But it's also a little, I don't know, not classy, right? Binnington, I mean, what are you doing, man? Throwing water bottles? We looked at the replay right there, and I have to admit, I don't think it was malicious. That's not coming as an Avs supporter or anything like that. It looked like a hockey play. Happens a lot. The offside, the weak side defender crashed in, bumped him. There's an angle at this that does look like maybe he didn't get pushed, but I tell you what, that's the great part about sport, right? We can debate about this all day, but the thing that isn't up for debate is that Binnington did get hurt. So that's why this one's on the list, because right now the internet is ablaze with this conversation. We're actually going to be talking about it later tonight. Again, nice little plug for the Today in Hockey video, but we are going to be taking a deep dive into an article on this one, so definitely check that video out. But all right, moving on to number 4. Todd Bertuzzi sucker punches Steve Moore. Now, this one, the conversation, of course, was just more outrage towards Todd Bertuzzi, but what injury list would be complete without listing this one, especially when we're talking controversy? This one right here, the hit we're seeing, is not the exact hit. I didn't want to show it, to be honest. A little too gruesome. It was just unfair, but essentially Todd Bertuzzi came up behind Steve Moore, was trying to get him to fight. This didn't come out of nowhere necessarily, back and forth throughout the game, but he came up from behind and grabbed his jersey, punched him in the back of the head. Moore then proceeds to fall forward, hits his face, head on the ice, and then in the ensuing scrum, other players pile on top of him. It ended Moore's career. He ended up, I think it said 3 broken vertebrae, and Bertuzzi ended up with a 17-month suspension. At the time, I believe, was 4th longest. He only missed 20 games because of the lockout and everything, but at the end of the day, it ended someone's career, and there was a lot of outrage. So definitely a controversial injury for sure. All right, number 3, another one. This one's kind of neat. So this one, Matt Calvert hit by a shot results in goal. Now, on the face of it, you feel like that happens all the time, Josh. Why is this one so controversial? And the reason I say this one's controversial is because it did provoke a lot of rule change talk. If you scour the internet a little bit, just do a quick Google search, you'll see several articles talking about this hit in particular. That's not the one we're seeing. We're not actually seeing a hit. This is actually just a wonderful highlight from Matt Calvert. Again, I don't want to show the blood. I don't want to show the gore necessarily in this regard. It doesn't necessarily add value to it. We can always go find that if you do really want to see it. This is just a nice celebration of Matt Calvert. But he did in 2019, this incident happened, and there were a lot of calls that the rules needed to be changed. So as it stands, the officials don't stop the play if a player is hurt. if the player had gotten hurt and hit by the puck. In this case, he was hit in the side of the head, bleeding, and the Canucks proceeded to score a goal, and the Avs ended up winning in overtime. But at the time, this wasn't something that was at the forefront of people's minds. Refs just let it go. We don't want people embellishing. This one was definitely controversial if you're an Avalanche fan. Poor Matt Calvert, also note, he got hit in the face with a slap shot earlier in his career as well. So I don't know, man. Goodness. But unfortunately, he did end up retiring due to concussion issues. Whether or not these were part of that, I'm sure it added something to it. But we are moving on to number 2. All right, Jack Eichel injures back. How can we talk about controversial injuries in the NHL and not talk about Jack Eichel? This was an 8-month saga. So it happened, I believe it started in March and concluded in November of last year. Jack Eichel hurts his neck. And essentially, him and the Sabres disagreed on which surgery he should have. Eichel wanted the disc replacement surgery. The Sabres wanted him to do the fusion. And I tell you what, I've watched a lot of videos, probably more than I would care to, on the different surgeries. And I got to be honest, I side with Eichel 1,000%, not necessarily on the type of surgery. yes, if I was doing that myself, I probably would go that route too. But it's more so a player's right? It's his body, his choice. I know that's a hot topic, and we're definitely not going to get political here, but in regards to this, Eichel, two surgeries that were going to fix the issue. One of them had just not been proven and tried and true on an NHL athlete. I get the hesitation from the Sabres, but at the same point, when the science tells you it should be fine, everything will be okay, and the player wants it, that's the route the player wants, a better quality of life, not needing to have surgery so soon, it is something to think about. And this right here, we're just looking at some of Jack Eichel's greatness, because I enjoy him as a player, and I want him out there as much as possible, and I think the game was worse off not having him be able to get the surgery he needed right away, get healed, and back into action. Now, it all ended up working out, right? He ends up getting traded to the Knights, and they didn't make the playoffs. And Knights fans, don't come after me. I'm sure you're going to say maybe it wasn't a total success so far, but that team had other issues, right? We're dealing with other injuries, and that actually ties into our number 1. Spoiler alert, but at the end of the day, Jack Eichel got the surgery he needed. He's away from the Sabres. I'm sure there's still some hard feelings there, but at the end of the day, he's where he wants to be. He had the surgery that he wanted to have. I think all parties are happy, but it does open up the question with the CBA. Why do the teams get to decide which surgery the players have? So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this one. Which side of the coin did you fall on? Did you side with Jack Eichel? Did you side with the Sabres? I'd be really curious what you guys think, and Knights fans, let me know what you feel on Jack Eichel just in general. All right, so before we get into number 1, I didn't want to spoil anything, but we do have a couple honorable mentions. I found some other nuggets in there that were rather interesting, and unfortunately, I did say we weren't going to go into gore or gruesome, but unfortunately, we have had an individual killed as a result of a hit in an NHL game. Bill Masterson, former Dallas North Star, killed as a result of a legal Minnesota North Star. Goodness, we're going back in time. Former North Star killed as a result of a legal check by 2 defenders, and essentially he got sandwiched between 2 guys and fell back and hit his head extremely hard on the ice, and ended up passing away from the injuries. Unfortunately, it is the only person that has died as a result of a hit in an NHL game, and hopefully it stays that way, right? But it has happened. It's important to acknowledge that. The other honorable mention, Ace Bailey nearly died. So we almost had a second member pass away, and this was also way back when, I believe this is in the 30s. Former Maple Leaf, he was rushed to the hospital with a fractured skull, had emergency surgery, and did end up retiring due to his injury, but did not pass away due to that. But fun fact, the first NHL All-Star game was a benefit to raise money for him and his family. So neat little way that was created, but unfortunate that it had to take place because of that. But all right, moving into number 1, last but not least, Kucherov returns for playoff run. So the important part of this video, I didn't want it to feel very down, right? Like, we don't want to necessarily talk about the gruesome, gory, the depressing. We just want to analyze the game of hockey because we love hockey. And this probably is one of the most controversial injury topics in most recent memory because, one, it is recent. It's happening right now. You see I have a Golden Knights little tag on there because the exploitation of the salary cap. That is a hot topic, and I really want to know what you guys are thinking on this topic, so let me know in the comments. But essentially, last season, 2021 season, Nikita Kucherov missed the entire season. He was rehabbing from surgery, and even if he did need the entire time, that's good. And the Lightning technically didn't do anything wrong, but since he didn't play the entire season, he was put on long-term injured reserve, and his salary did not count towards the salary cap. So the Lightning, instead of having to be concerned about sending players away to make room for all their contracts, they were able to keep people and actually supplement the roster, and they end up winning the cup, second in a row. So Kucherov ends up leading the playoffs in points with 32 as well. I think next closest was 23 that season. So it really opened the floodgates too in regards to exploitation of the salary cap rules. We saw it this season with the Knights, but it's just not one or two teams. I mean, to be honest, anyone that had the opportunity, they were going to do that, right? But it makes you wonder, and I imagine this is going to be something that gets amended probably fairly soon. I would imagine within the next one or two seasons. I don't know. I'd have to check when the CBA is coming up. But yeah, this Nikita Kucherov, at the end of the day, he's playing, he's healthy, everything is fine, and the injury was just a bump in the road. But as far as controversial injuries and creating conversation and sparking the flames of topic for hockey, this injury is definitely, it's top of the list for me. And honestly, we could go Binnington, Kadri, but right now, with what's happening in the NHL and the exploitation of the salary cap, I think this is one of the most controversial injuries in NHL history. But let me know in the comments what you think. Do you agree with this puppy? We do have a giveaway going on at the channel right now. We are looking at something hockey related. I'm going to be giving away something hockey related, maybe a jersey, maybe a gift card. Haven't really decided. We're still new to the whole YouTube thing, just starting the channel out. So once we hit 100 subscribers, that is going to be the key, and we are going to be giving away something to someone. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel. As we get closer, maybe we look at doing some other engagement things, but we're going to start with this one. If you guys do enjoy the video, please smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. It helps the channel out a ton. Let me know in the comments what sort of topics you guys want to see. I'm here for you just as much as I'm here for myself. We want to grow the game, right? We love hockey. So I appreciate you all. Let me know in the comments how we're doing, and until next time, cheers.